All right, everybody, welcome back to the deep dive.
Mm.
Sometimes you just want to really get to the bottom of an idea. And that's exactly what we're doing today with a concept that could really change how you think about reaching those big goals.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's like um, we're diving straight into Who Not How by Benjamin Hardy. It's a book that, when you first hear the title, it sounds pretty straightforward. But, when you actually start to think about it, the implications for how you approach your goals are huge.
Yeah, absolutely. It's instead of getting stuck on how you're going to do everything yourself, it's about who can help you get there. And it sounds like a simple shift, but it can open up so many more possibilities, especially when you're aiming high.
Right. And Hardy's argument is that as your goals get bigger, your own ability to handle every single step, the how that inevitably becomes a bottleneck. He says that really amazing achievements almost always come from working together, from finding the right people, the who's who can complement your strengths and fill in those gaps.
Yep.
Exactly. And to really illustrate this, think about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Here's this amazing talent, arguably the best basketball player ever, but for years, even with his incredible skill, like his mastery of the how of basketball, he couldn't win a championship.
It's really interesting to think about what changed when Phil Jackson came in as coach.
Hmm.
He didn't try to diminish Jordan's abilities or anything. Instead, he brought in a system, the triangle offense, that used the strengths of the whole team. It
Yeah.
wasn't just about Jordan's individual brilliance anymore. It became a whole team effort.
Yeah, and what happened?
Yeah.
6 championships in 8 years. It's hard to argue with that kind of success. And, Hardy points out that even someone as gifted as Michael Jordan wasn't a one-man show. His success was ultimately amplified by the right coach and the right teammates, the crucial who. It makes you think about the psychological side of it too, right? Even for a superstar like Jordan, was it difficult to let go of some control and trust in others? Oh yeah, for sure. That's a really good point. It probably took a pretty big mindset shift, to realize that even incredible individual talent has its limits. Jackson's brilliance wasn't just in designing the offense, but in creating a culture of trust and shared responsibility. Convincing someone like Jordan that collaboration would actually take him even further. And that's a huge lesson for anyone who wants to achieve big things.
Yeah, it really is. And it makes you look at your own situation, right? What are you working towards right now? Are you so focused on figuring out every single detail yourself that you're missing the opportunity to bring in someone who already has the expertise or the resources you need? Are you maybe subconsciously limiting your goals to what you think you can do on your own?
Exactly the challenge Hardy throws at us. We get so caught up in the how, the step-by-step plans, the tiny details, that we forget to step back and ask the more important question: who can help me make this happen better and faster? It
Mhm.
challenges that whole idea that we have to figure everything out ourselves.
And when you really think about it, that how-focused approach has some pretty big limitations. Hardy says it pretty clearly. How limits you to your own knowledge and capabilities. How requires that you be the one to engage your time and attention into the particular task. So you basically become the limit on your own progress.
Right. You're stuck within the boundaries of what you know right now and what you can do by yourself. Every problem needs your attention. Every new skill has to be learned by you. It's a recipe for feeling overwhelmed, stretched thin, and, hitting a wall, especially when you have those big, ambitious goals.
Now think about flipping the script and think about the power of the who. Hardy says there are countless brilliant and capable commenters. Who's out there waiting and wanting to help you? They need only to hear and understand your vision. It's like shifting from a mindset of scarcity to abundance, realizing that there's a ton of talent and expertise out there if you know where to look and how to ask.
And what's really cool is that it changes how you see the problem. Instead of thinking, how can I learn to do all of this? You start thinking, who is already great at this? Who has the connections I need? Who can bring a fresh perspective? It lets you use the strengths of other people and move forward so much faster.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. Hardy makes a distinction between effort and result. He says, you are rewarded in life by the results you produce, not the effort and time you put in, which is kind of counterintuitive in a society that often glorifies hard work. It makes you think about whether you're valuing being busy or actually achieving something, which can be a tough realization.
Yeah, it definitely challenges that idea that just working hard is enough. Hardy's saying that hard work is important, but it's not the only thing that matters. The real measures of the impact you make, the results you get, and focusing on who can often lead to those better results while using your time and energy more strategically.
Which brings us to another limiting belief that Hardy talks about, that idea that doing everything yourself is somehow better, more noble. He says, believing that doing all of the hows yourself is noble is a limiting belief. It's not noble. Why do you think that belief is so common? Is it fear of being vulnerable? A need for control?
I think it's probably a mix of things. There's definitely this idea in our society about self-reliance, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, asking for help can feel like admitting you're weak. And there's also the control aspect when you do it yourself.
No.
You know exactly how it's done. Letting go and trusting others can be tough. But Hardy argues that real achievement often means getting over that discomfort and recognizing that delegating lets you focus on what you're best at.
And the change in perspective, embracing the who, can unlock some serious freedoms. Hardy talks about time freedom. He says, you can't have money freedom until you achieve time freedom.
It's a pretty direct connection if you're always bogged down in the how you know your time is gone. You can't pursue bigger opportunities that might lead to financial freedom. Exactly. By getting help from others for tasks that aren't your strong suit or that someone else can do better, you free up your most valuable resource, your time. This lets you focus on bigger picture thinking, innovation, and the things that really move your vision forward.
He also talks about freedom of purpose and vision. He says collaboration immediately expands your freedom of purpose and vision because what you can do with others is exponentially more than what you can do by yourself. Collaboration allows you to focus on what you want to focus on and not feel guilty about getting help. It's about expanding what you even believe is possible.
Think about the energy that comes from bringing together different talents and perspectives. You're not limited by just your own imagination or skills anymore. Collaboration creates new ideas, helps you see things you were missing, and lets you tackle problems that would be impossible alone. It really expands what you can achieve.
And then there's freedom of relationship, where Hardy suggests that this who not how mindset means surrounding yourself with people who are on board with your vision and support you. He says, in order to have freedom of relationship, you can no longer engage with people that don't align with your vision. That sounds like that could mean making some hard choices about who you spend your time with.
It does suggest that you need to be intentional about who you connect with. It's not just about finding people to do things for you, but about building relationships with people who are truly invested in your success and whose values and goals match your own. It's about creating a supportive network around what you want to achieve.
And at the heart of this whole who not how philosophy is the power of collaboration. Hardy puts it simply, wherever you see brilliant work happening, collaboration is happening. It's a reminder that those truly incredible achievements we admire are almost always the result of working together, not solo genius.
But it's really important to understand that this isn't just about finding people to do things for you. Hardy makes a really key point. Never enter a relationship without having first created value in that relationship. It emphasizes the idea of give and take. What do you think are some good ways to create value in a collaborative relationship right from the beginning?
That's a great question. I think it could be as simple as offering your own skills or knowledge-making introductions, or even just being a reliable and supportive partner. It's about showing that you're not just there to take, but that you're committed to something that benefits both of you. It's about building real partnerships, not just transactions.
Yeah, exactly. It's about coming into collaboration with a mindset of contribution. What can you bring to the table? How can you help them reach their goals? That foundation of mutual value is so important for building strong, long-lasting collaborative relationships.
Ultimately, the message of who, not how, seems to be one of huge potential. Hardy ends by saying, your potential is virtually limitless when you stop asking how and start asking who. And then he says something even more powerful. Only through whos can the most important miracles and blessings happen in your life. It's a pretty inspiring vision.
It really changes how we think about achievement. It's not about becoming a master of everything yourself, but about becoming a master of bringing people together, connecting with the right people who can bring their expertise and passion to your vision.
So to sum up this deep dive, the main takeaway here is this powerful shift from focusing on the tiny details of execution, the how, to strategically finding and engaging with capable collaborators, the who. It's not about avoiding hard work or responsibility, but about smartly using your energy and leveraging the different talents and resources of others to reach heights you couldn't reach on your own.
Right. It's about realizing that your ability to make an impact grows hugely when you embrace the power of connection and collaboration.
And on that note, here's something for you to think about after this deep dive. Think about a big goal you're working on right now, one where you might be feeling stuck or overwhelmed by all the steps. The how, who is one person, or maybe what kind of person could you reach out to for help or collaboration? What could happen if you shifted your thinking from how can I do this to who can help me achieve this? It's a question that could really change the game for your goals.